Hi North Haven, this is going to be the quick start guide for teachers on how to use SeeSaw. I'm just going to cover the basics. If you want to learn how to do a lot more of the detailed things, I'm going to follow this up with a video that really goes in depth, but I wanted to make something short first that just covered how to get an assignment out, how to look at it, assess it, and get it back to your students. From here, if you're playing with it this summer before we have our premium version rolled out, which right now we're working on purchasing, you can hit create account and come down here and create an account with your work email. And as long as you create the free account with your work email, as soon as the premium comes through, that will automatically upgrade. They've assured us it will automatically upgrade. This is going to be your main homepage that you'll be brought to every time. This is all the work that has been submitted. And then so that's the journal. Then the next category that you have is activities. The activities are what you've assigned. So note that this is the activity I sent, and if I come over to journal, this is one of my students' work and what they did. This assignment has already been approved. Later I'll show you what it looks like before they've been approved, but there would be a bar up here letting me decide whether or not I wanted to approve it, send it back to the student, or delete it. And that's all options that you have after a student turns in an assignment. You can change your view of student work. This is the stream view. You can also change it to a calendar view. So if you know that your students turned in a certain assignment on a certain day, let's say the 14th, I want to look at those assignments, you can click on that day and you'll only see the assignments that were turned in on that day. It's just another way to sort through assignments and find them more easily. Now, if I come back to my activities tab, and here I can see the activities that I have assigned. And this is exactly how the students will see it. So that is a nice thing. You can view it just the way the students view it. You can see here that this is the picture of the assignment. These are the directions. This one has the directions able to be read aloud. So this wasn't one I made. It's one that I got from another teacher, and she recorded herself reading the directions. Here in the gray bar, I can see how many students have returned it, how many need to be assessed or approved, how many students have started working but not turned it in yet, and how many haven't responded. I can see the day and time that I assigned it. I can see who it was assigned to, what folder or folders I tagged it to, and whether or not there's been a template attached for the students to work in. Notice that I can come and look at all activities assigned to my class, and if I click here, I see my different folders. And if I click on one, I'll see the assignments that have been saved in that folder. And the work in here is going to be the student work, and that's what I'll be able to see in those folders. The next tab is your inbox. You can message students and families with the inbox. The students can't message you back and they can't message each other, but they can receive messages from you. With families, you can message individuals in families and have them message you back. So this is an option for communication with families. It's going to depend on you whether you want to use this, Swift K-12, or your email, or maybe a blend of the three. You don't have to use this option, but you can if you want to. And then the last tab are the skills that I was talking about. I don't have access to that yet because it is part of the paid premium version, but you can kind of see here, it's just regular color coding like we do with most skills to mastery, where red is they're in trouble of not learning the material, dark green is above mastery, light green is mastered, and then there's yellow or orange in the middle when they're kind of in the danger zone but not too far behind yet. You can, with the skills, create your own skills and modify it to fit your classroom, which is a nice thing. And the way you add skills once we have the premium is you come down to this gray button at the bottom. You probably can't see it because it's behind me, but there is a gray button down there and it does say skills, and that's how you add new skills. If you want to modify the settings in your class, and there are a lot of them, so I'm not going to cover them in this video, they will be covered in the next video, you come up to this wrench icon on the top right. If you want to log out, you come over here and you do have settings for your profile. You're probably not going to need to do much with that, but there is also the SeeSaw support is there if there's something you want to contact SeeSaw support for instead of the IT department, and the sign out button is over here. So if we want to assign an activity, what you do is you come to this add button and you click Assign Activity. From here, you can also post student work, which means like if we're in class, you can take pictures and you can post it to their portfolio, or you can send an announcement with this plus sign, and that just sends out an announcement to the students. For Assign Activity, it's going to bring you to your activity library to pick an activity. It will have your most recent activities up here in the center, and then if you scroll down, you'll have your collections. So if we're comparing this to Google Classroom, your collections are like topics. Anyone who organized their materials in Google Classroom, you did it in topics underneath the classwork. But the folders are more like the classroom drive. So Google did that automatically for you and you didn't have to worry about it. The folders are going to hold all of your students' work. Your library, your collections are going to hold your assignments, your activities, the materials that you have that you've created, just as a way to separate those two ideas of organization that are in SeeSaw. So if I come and click my ELA collection, here are all of my ELA assignments, and if I want to, I can assign them from here. The way that I organize my activities is when I have an activity that I've saved that hasn't been put in a collection, it lets me know at the bottom I have activities not in a collection. I click this gray button. The way that you're going to move these activities into your collection is you click Organize, and then you select the collection you want it to respond to, and it automatically moves into that collection. So that's how you access the activities, and notice they all have the green Assign button if you want to assign them. You can also create a new activity from scratch, which we'll go over later. Right now, I'm also going to show you the community. The community activity library is similar to Edpuzzle, Flipgrid, Common Lit, Actively Learn, ReadWorks, anything that you've used online that has pre-made assignments on it. It's very extensive. It has a lot of different assignments. Most of them are made by teachers. What you do is you can search by grade level, and you can also search by subject. Once you've narrowed it down to grade level and subject, you can also enter in the type of activity you want to do. Let's say I want to do the CVC word picture match. From here, you can see the activity on the left. You can see who did it, and if you like it, you can click on their name and see more activities they've made, how they've done the directions, whether or not they read the instructions out loud for your students, what it's been tagged as, how many teachers liked it, and whether or not it's compatible with our Chromebooks. And this does say that it's compatible with our Chromebooks. The three dots down here on the bottom right will let you print it or share it. So if you have a team member you want to share activities with, that's how you would do it. If you want to save the activity but you're not ready to assign it yet, you can click this heart and that will save it. And now that I've clicked the heart, if I come to the three dots, it's going to let me add it to a collection right from here so that I don't forget to do it later. It's also going to let me copy and edit the activity if I want to add things to it before I give it to my students. Print it. You can remove it from your library because that's what the heart did. It put it in your library, and you can still share it. When I'm ready to assign it, I click the green Assign button, and I choose the class I want to assign it to. I can also, if I click this hyperlink, I can choose which students to send it to. Clicking at the top defaults to your whole class. If you just want to send it to a small group or you want to practice sending it to your sample student, you can just select one student or a small group of students. This is also where you organize it. So I've already organized it into my ELA collection, so that's where the activity is going to live. But if I want the student work to be in a specific folder as they complete it, I need to come down here and click my reading folder to make sure that my student work is organized. This will also be where you can add skills, which again, I don't have access to now, but that's where you would tag certain skills to the assignment. When you're done, you click the green check mark and then come down and assign it to your class. You don't need to worry about this pop-up for now because our students will be logging in with Clever. Now, if I come up to this top right and click back to class, you'll see that I'm in my activities tab, and at the top is this assignment. So I want to show you the student side real quick before I show you how to make your own from scratch. If I come over to Hermione, and now I'm in Hermione, now at the top of her activities is this assignment. Notice that she says 3 activities she has to do, and it lets her know that as soon as she logs in, and it shows her here on the activities as well as by her name. So the way the student is going to do the assignments, the first thing you're going to want to teach the students to do, especially the ones who can't read yet, is to come to the gray bar and click on it in order to hear the instructions. Then they're going to click Add Response. Notice that this teacher added these little icons, and I will show you how to do that when you make your own assignment so that it matches what they have to find. Once they're in here, if it's a drag and drop like this one, it will default. If you see at the bottom, it's on the finger, which means they can drag and drop their items. So now they can move these in to where they need them to be. This teacher also wanted the student to read the words when they were done. So in the instructions, and they can always come up here to see them again, the 4th step was to click the microphone and read the words. So the way the students do that, they click the microphone, it'll count down from 3, and then they can start reading. Ship, chum, thin, thank, and keep on going. When they're done, they can click this green done button in the top right-hand corner. And now they've read the words and hopefully sorted them all, so they can click this green check mark. And now the assignment has been submitted, and you can see that it says waiting for teacher approval, so that they know they've submitted it and they're waiting for the teacher to respond. To do their next assignment, they click the activities button again, and it will bring them back so they can see the rest of their activities they have to do. So making your own assignment, you come to the Add button, you click Assign Activity, and click Create New Activity. From here you can put in the title and the instructions. So notice that I put in the title and the directions, and at the end of each step I have a word with a colon before and after it. Those are icon shortcuts. What they do is when I send the assignment to my students, instead of those words, it will have pictures of the buttons and tools that they need to click on directly from SeeSaw. And I will include that PDF in our tech help drive, and I'm also going to be sending it to everybody when we have the PD on this the week before school starts. Once you have the title and the directions, you can add voice instructions by clicking Add Voice Instructions and clicking the blue microphone button. When you're done reading the directions, you click pause, and then it'll give you your directions. You can listen to them, and if you don't like them, you can click the trash button to delete it and re-record. You can control the volume, and you can download the directions if for any reason you want to download them. You can download the exemplar or model here. So for instance, I'm going to make a drag and drop activity and show you how to do that. If you want to, you could do the first step for them and take a picture and then upload it here so they could see it before they start. And then at the bottom is where you're going to add the template that they're going to work on. So from here, you want to start with drawing if you're going to make anything that's drag or drop or any kind of worksheet that you want them to work on. So the first thing I'm going to do is add my background image, which is going to be my worksheet. I just hit Control V because I already had it copied as an image. If you have a PDF of a similar worksheet, what you do is you come to this camera button and click Upload, and then it will bring you to your File Explorer on your computer, and you can come up to Google Drive and access your PDF from there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to my Windows icon, and I'm going to type in Snip Tool. And what that does is it lets me take a picture of part of my screen and then copy it on top of my screen, on top of my picture. So I hit New. I'm going to click and drag over the fish. It's copied. So I hit Control C. I come here, I hit Control V. It does come in bigger every time. I don't know why. I click to make it smaller, and then I can put it right over my fish. So there is a slight issue here. Notice I can, which means the student can, I can move both my worksheet and I can move the fish, which you can imagine would be annoying for students to accidentally move the worksheet. The way you solve that problem is you click these three dots. Sometimes they'll be below or to the other side of the image. They will be on one of these dots that lets you move the worksheet. Click the three dots and click lock. Now I can't move this worksheet, which means my students can't move it. But they can move the fish. So when they get it, they can move it to the right box. So that's how you make the drag and drop. If you want to, you can also add text by hitting the T button. Once you're done typing, you can change the color of the text by clicking on this color bar over here. You can also click and drag the words, and you can change the size of the text box. And you can also change the font, the type of text box, and the alignment. Those are all things that you can change. Once you've put in the instructions, if you want to, you can also add extra audio instructions by clicking the microphone. Just like with the students, it'll count down, then it starts recording, and when you're done recording, you can hit done. And now it will show up when the students come in, they'll see the play button and they can click it to start the recording. With the free version, I can only show you how to do one page, but once we have the premium, you're going to be able to add multiple pages, just like you would do slides in a presentation. And to do that, you come down in the bottom right behind where I am and click the Add Page button, and that's going to let you add more pages. You can also use these tools to write, which the students can also do. If you want to, you can change the background. If you make a mistake while you're doing things, you can undo your mistakes up here. You can also redo. Right now it's in the edited version. If you want to see it in a non-editable version, so it's taking up the whole screen, you can click this button, and that makes it more like a slideshow presentation. You can also zoom in or zoom out. If you don't like the whole thing and you want to get rid of it, you can click the trash button to delete it, and when you're done, you click the green check. Now your assignment is ready, and you can click Save. From here, you can add it to your collections if you want to add it to a collection so that it's sorted. It's been added to my collection, and you can also assign it if you want to assign it. So our last assignment that we assigned, the student did complete it. So I'm going to come over to the journal, and if you come down to the bottom, you notice I have this red bar that says 2 unapproved posts and review. That's how you look at and assess your students' work. So I'm going to click Review, and it shows me the students' work. From here, I can click on it like I showed you earlier to view it. And once I'm done, I can approve it, send it back to them, or delete it. If I delete it, they'll have to start from scratch over. Send back, they'll start with what they already have. And if I approve, then there's nothing left in my grading box to grade. And if I come back to the regular journal, it'll now be at the top. And if I come back to my other student, if she comes to her journal, now the blue line at the top is gone because I approved it. If you've got any questions about this, feel free to contact the IT team or set up an appointment with me one-on-one if you want to. Just send a ticket to support@northavenschools.org. Also know that we are going to do a full PD session on this